All right, guys, we're back. Another episode. What episode are we on now?
I don't know.
We've been grinding on this podcast, and we're still sitting at like a cool 300-400 views an episode. Which
I don't like that you asked me. Now I have to.
I'm not too upset about it, but guys, if you like the podcast and you're listening, especially if you're listening to this on like something other than YouTube, leave us a review, please. If you enjoy it and you listen to it at least like once a week or every other week, whatever it is, just drop us a review. That's the deal, guys, please. Helps us grow. We're a small podcast, and we're trying to climb the top of the charts. So,
It's episode 25.
that being said, episode 25, we're back. We're going to talk about some more cleaning stuff. We're going to have to call an audible, though. We had a guest lined up, and someone somewhere along the process dropped the ball on letting the where we do the studio, letting the guy know that it's going to be an online one, not in person. So, it is what it is, right? First time's on us, even though it's like the third time maybe. But first time's on us. You know who I'm talking to. That being said, dude, we've got a lot of cool stuff. You just ran the P&L call. The P&L call, for those uninformed, is a call we run with our mastermind clients who are doing 20K, 30K, 40K, 50K, all the way up to 100K a month in their cleaning business. We've got like about 70 of them now. And they all hop on this call, and they show their profit and loss statement for their previous month, right? And ever since we implemented this, it's been really interesting because over time, we've showed them how to look at their profit and loss statement and then also make decisions off the profit and loss statement. And now, over the course of probably the last, 7, 8, 9 months we've been doing the P&L call, we've just seen the profit every month start to stack and stack and stack. And so I wasn't on there yesterday, but you were. So why don't you talk to us about some students that are crushing it, some fixes we made in the business, some common pitfalls that you see accelerator students make.
Yeah, that's easy. So what's cool about June is every business seasonal with cleaning, things slow down a little bit during the winter. December, January, February, but now that we're spring rush hit, now it's summer, numbers are looking really good, so that's cool. So we're seeing everybody's revenue go up. One common pitfall that we've been working on with a lot of people is the amount of money they're paying for their cleaners, right? Mm-hmm. Like some people fall into the trap and they pay their cleaners way too much, and it could be because they're not pricing enough. It could be because their cleaners are asking for more and more money for various reasons. But on the high end, people were sometimes paying their cleaners up to 70%. So say someone gets paid $10K in jobs, they were paying out $7,000 to cleaners. So you could imagine there's not that much room for profit.
Well, and then you pay the $7,000 to the cleaners, right? On your example, and then how much was spent on marketing to get to that $10,000? Maybe It was 1 or 2, right? And then you subtract that from the marketing, and then after that, you still got all your fixed costs to pay.
So yeah, that was a big common pitfall that we'd see a lot. But now that we've been doing the P&L call for a while, that's it's going away, and you could see every single month someone's gross profit, which is the profit after paying the cleaner, is going up a couple percent every time, and every time that percent goes up, the net profit also goes up. At the end of the day, how much money is going in your pocket? So, yeah, I was seeing a couple people that were sitting at like 40% net profit a couple months ago. They're now at 55%. Or no, I'm sorry, gross profit after paying the cleaner.
Shit, who?
Yeah, 40 to 55. There's a couple of people. Trying to think of names off the top of my head. Steven in Utah. He's doing pretty good with that. But yeah.
Well, give us some numbers, man.
Well, Steven took a huge jump. I think last month he did like 10K. Mm-hmm. And then this past month, 10K in revenue. And then this past month he did 18K. And what he's doing is really cool because he's starting to really get carpet cleaning into the mix because he's working with a lot of property managers, people that manage like apartments or like commercial buildings. And he's making these connections just kind of like locally or through cold calling, cold email. But some of these property managers are giving him like 10, 20 jobs a month. So he only spent like 9% on marketing. So I think he spent like $900, $800, and he made $18,000 in revenue. So his net profit at the end of the day was looking really good.
What was it, like $7,000, $8,000?
It was a little bit lower than normal. It was like 7. It was like 7. Mm-hmm. But he paid a BNI, like the membership full year fee, membership. Yeah. That was like $800, and then he paid for a carpet cleaning machine. That was like another $900. I mean, okay, I know. Okay, Johnny just shook his head if you can't see, but what's cool about what he's doing though is he's renting it out to cleaners that don't have it, and then they're getting paid like a lesser percentage for using it. They're basically paying him 10% to rent his machine.
See now,
which
dude,
is kind of cool.
I love to hear that, bro.
Which is kind of cool. Like no one else is really doing that. But yeah, I mean the lesson to take out of his story is make connections with property managers, people that can give you multiple jobs a month, and then upsell them on things that they also need, like carpet cleaning. So he's crushing it.
Cross-sell, man. Cross-sell, that's actually really smart.
Yeah.
No, I mean, definitely common pitfall, gross margin, right? Like, almost everyone we bring into Accelerator, which is, again, our mastermind program on the back end of Home Service Academy, almost every time we have to fix cleaner pay because of, like what you said, either they just started them off at too high of a percentage, they are pricing too low, or they're just operating from a place of scarcity, which I don't think you said that one, which is a big one, where it's like you've got like 2-3 cleaners on staff, they're all good, and they start asking you for higher percentages and more money, and then you're like, oh, well, they're really good, so let me fold on this. But you already started them off at 50%, so then you give them to 55. They asked once, you can expect in a few months they're going to ask again, then you move them to 60, and it's like before you know it, you're making almost no money. And I can't emphasize enough how important cleaner pay is, right? And I'm not saying like jip your cleaners and like just be Mr. Moneybags and try to like keep all the profit, right? Obviously you want to be profitable, but also at the same time you want it to be a win-win for you and your cleaner, and you do that by setting the proper expectations up front and bringing them in on a 40 to 45% cut. So if they do ask for more money, which is normal, sure, you can raise it a little bit and you'll still be fine because you're above that 50% kind of gross margin mark. And another thing I see too is people just folding when they ask for more money instead of having a bench of cleaners ready to go for those problem cleaners, right? The ones that are constantly bitching about, oh, this job's too hard, or it's not priced correctly, I want more money. And it's like, you start running into that kind of stuff. It might seem small at the beginning, but it's going to, I've seen this happen where people are ripping $40K, $50K in a month, and then you look at their bottom line, it's like $1,000 of profit because of cleaner pay. And you solve that by building a deep bench of cleaners. So if one starts to give you so much problems, you basically tell them, hey, maybe this isn't a good fit. Boom, you have another one plugged right in, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we realized recently. Like, this is a recruiting game.
Mm-hmm.
A cleaning company is a recruiting company that specifically recruits cleaners. Because if you look at, two people side by side, one person's good at finding cleaners and replacing cleaners, and someone who isn't, the better one always wins.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have good marketing. Because what's going to happen if you have good marketing and bad recruiting is that you're going to get a bunch of customers that are just upset that they got a crappy cleaning job. So you got to be a good recruiter. Recruiting is your product.
Yeah, and guys, there's houses everywhere. Leads is easy. If you're not getting leads, like, you should really reevaluate what you're spending your time on if you're not getting leads, because getting leads is the easy part, and there's so many ways to do it. Google local service ads, Facebook groups, next door groups, asking your customers for referrals, property managers, right? Like custom home builders, bigger home builders, apartment complex. Like, I can keep
anywhere
going.
that needs house,
right?
Yeah, cleaning. Yeah.
It's like if you identify some type of building, somebody's in charge of that building, whether it's the homeowner, the building owner, the facilities manager, property manager, whatever it is. Find that person, build a relationship. You'll get the leads. Like, they need it. Promise you, they need it. But that being said, you're gonna get the leads. Just focus on recruiting. If you focus on recruiting, you do 75% of the job, because if you're constantly vetting cleaners and you get good cleaners in, well, your cleaners are your product. And so if you're sending really, really solid, great cleaners, guess what's going to happen? Customers are going to be really happy. And then what happens when they're really happy?
They'll book again?
Exactly. They'll book again. You see? So
yep, they book again. They send referrals. They tell their friends and family about it. It's just the best flywheel.
Okay, let me just interrupt real quick to tell you about Home Service Academy. It's the company Sergio and I run. Home Service Academy is essentially a business in the box where our team will actually roll up our sleeves and help you build a house cleaning business and run it completely remotely from anywhere in the world, from dirt to however big you actually want to take it. To date, we've helped over 1,500 people start and grow their existing house cleaning businesses all across the US and Canada. It's something we've gotten very, very good at. And if you've been looking to dip your toe into entrepreneurship, whether that's to go full-time in a business, to replace an income, or just build a side hustle that produces you an extra whatever amount of money you want to make on the side, on top of your current 9-to-5, then click the link in the bio and book a call with our team. It's completely free, and at the very least, you'll see what it looks like to actually run one of these businesses, the time commitments, the amount of money it costs to actually start, and every good and bad thing that can come with running one of these. So again, if that's something you're interested in, click the link in the bio, and let's get back to the pod.
But okay, going back to the P&L call, the other big pitfall that I see, and the second biggest line item on the P&L is marketing, right? After like paying your cleaners, it's going to be marketing. And one thing that I see is like channel dependency. Like even when someone gets to like 20, 30, 50K per month, if they're too dependent on one channel that's costing them a lot of money, it's Google LSA most of the time, then they're going to be spending a lot on marketing. Up to 20, I even seen 30% yesterday. 30% of the total revenue was being spent on marketing. And I mean, we have a rule of thumb, 10 to 20%. 20% on the high end if you're being aggressive and you want to like really scale and get as many customers in the door as possible. But when you're pushing 30, that's just how you run a business that's not going to be profitable. So I was seeing that a lot.
Yeah, what do you say to someone listening to this right now who spends a lot on marketing and say they have a cleaning business?
Okay.
Or even anyone who doesn't have a cleaning business and is listening to this for like just to look out for this in the future. What do you tell someone who's keeps spending a lot on marketing, that 30%, and they keep staying at the same revenue levels? Like they're not like moving anywhere.
I mean, the whole point of starting a house cleaning business is recurring revenue. So if you're doing a good job of getting customers to get on recurring and keep paying you over and over again, that number will slowly go down. Like you can still spend the same amount of money, but it'll be a lower percentage of your total revenue if you keep building your recurring revenue, because it just stacks. It's compounding. So that's the first thing I would say is look at your recurring and see, are you getting people on recurring, and are you getting like a low enough churn? If you're getting really high churn, then that's also a problem. But that's one way to fix that number. The other way is looking at your average job size / your close rate. Because what also happens is someone spends a lot of money on some kind of paid ads platform, and they're just not closing a lot of deals. Or if they are closing a lot of deals, they're getting them at a really low price. So when you look at the return on your ad spend, you want to be shooting for like 5 to 1. If you spend $100, you want to get $500 back, somewhere around that. And if it's lower than that, then that's how you start hitting like closer to 30%. So looking at those different things, that's how you could fix that number and be more profitable.
Yeah, that's all too common. And like going back to what we talked about earlier, combining the two, right? Bringing this full circle. If you haven't started a cleaning business yet, or even if you're in the cleaning business, going into it knowing I'm in the recruiting game, I just got to focus on hiring good cleaners. Then even if you get to the point where you are channel dependent, but you're ripping that 30, 40, 50K and really getting all the juice out of that, then you're going to get the most bang for your buck, because all that money you're spending to get to those revenue levels, you'll see a lot of those customers convert to recurring, which will then help you also dial down your ad spend in the long run, because most of those customers should book for recurring as long as you're not getting a ton of like move in, move out cleans. Yeah,
dude, that's key. Neither of us said spend less money on Google LSA or like that one channel. And I think that's where we've messed up before. People mess up all the time is they look at the P&L and they get scared of that big 30% number. They're like, okay, let me spend less on Google LSA. But that's not the fix, because you're just going to get less leads and less money overall. the fix is what we talked about. Like, you have to be more efficient with your ad spend and get as many people to recurring as possible.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, look at what I found, too, to really be helpful with a lot of people that I see, like, lacking in converting their customers to recurring is look and see, especially if you have multiple cleaners. If you have multiple cleaners, look and see if there's any cleaners on your roster that gets an outsized amount of first-time jobs to book to recurring, because those are the cleaners you want to find. And I bet you if you've got a roster of cleaners, you'll look at these numbers and you'll see, oh, freaking Barbara over here, whenever I send her out, 50% of the time those customers want to book for recurring. Because, again, I want to emphasize a point. The cleaners are the product. Your cleaners are the product. You send out shit cleaners, well, then you're spending money every month spinning your wheels just to get to the same revenue levels to cover your cost. But if you identify, hey, this Barbara woman is really killing it with the recurring, then your job is to say, okay, well, I need to start replacing these other cleaners with more Barbaras, or whatever their name is.
Mm-hmm. And how would you go about doing that?
Dude, just so simple. Just volume. Just screening cleaners all the time. You're always hiring. So what do we say in Accelerator, bro? Always be closing and
always be recruiting.
Always be recruiting, man. Always the two ABCs,
man.
Always be closing.
That's what we live by.
Always be recruiting. And honestly, it should be always be recruiting first, then always be closing, because I'd rather have a roster of cleaners that I don't have enough work for than a ton of work that I don't have enough cleaners for, because then you make panic hires and you cut corners, you don't do the test cleans, you don't background check them, et cetera, et cetera.
I would also consider paying that person a little bit more to keep them on. A Barbara. Someone that's getting, we'd have to look at the numbers, but like if they're getting really outsized results on recurring cleans.
You're more generous than I am. I'm paying more until they say something.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I would do the same thing.
Yeah. What else? What else did you see yesterday on the P&L call?
What's cool about this model that we run is we don't have to deal with supplies. So besides like the little software things, fixed costs, I guess your next biggest expense would be a virtual assistant, like someone running your office, back office, if you had one of those. And, just hiring that person a little bit too early for whatever reason could also really impact your net profit margin at the end of the day. So that's something that I've seen, but sometimes people have to hire them early on. So it's kind of the cost you pay to have the business running. Meanwhile, you're at work full time or whatever it is. So I guess that's the other thing. But besides that, man, marketing and cleaners is like the biggest impact on the business.
So to sum it all up, guys, gross profit margin, target 50% or more, 55, 60%, you're golden. It's going to be very hard to not be profitable if you're at that 55, 60% gross margin.
Mm-hmm.
After that, your marketing is a percentage of your revenue, because it's going to measure how effective your marketing actually is. If it's 20% or more, your close rate likely is not where it needs to be. There's something wrong with your pricing, or you're just not converting customers to recurring. And then also after that, it's how well are you delegating and managing your VA, right? And then after that, it really just comes down to churn. Right? Are you doing a good job at remarketing, retaining your customers that you spent money to acquire? And not enough people do that. They think, I'm just going to spend more money and get more customers. Oh, I got $50K this month. It's like, dude, you're just spending to get to $50K every month. But if you're churning out your customers at a rate that's higher than how fast you're booking the new customers you're acquiring to recurring, you're spinning your wheels. So what systems do you have set up on the back end to continue to remarket and re-nurture the customers that only book those one-time deep cleans?
Yeah, that's a good
no
point.
To the recurring.
There's something that I was thinking about the other day. Just because someone doesn't book an actual recurring package in your business doesn't mean they're not a recurring customer.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some people that will only get it once every 2-3 months, or they'll get it whenever they have parties or like events at their house, but they are getting it multiple times a year, which makes it a recurring thing. Like they're not only paying you one time. And the person that's going to get the most recurring customers that way is, like you said, having some kind of system on the back end where you're constantly emailing them, texting them, reaching out to them, not in an annoying way, and it's going to feel like you're like bugging them at first, but and just in a way that's like, hey, I'm here to help you, and just staying top of mind for them. So when they do need cleaning, you're the first person that they reach out to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that me and you really didn't utilize back in Orange window cleaning. And I still see a lot of people not really utilizing that today. So it's something that you already paid for the customer. Why not market to them for free and get more money out of them?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, you know what a good industry to model on is, or model after is look at these retail stores and these e-commerce brands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as an example, I went and bought for your wedding last week. And by the way, Sergio got married last week. Congrats. Woo! I was shopping for, I needed a white shirt. The day before the wedding, it was like the Thursday, and I went down to the outlet real quick to grab a white shirt from Calvin Klein.
Right.
And let me go to my emails too as I make this point.
They got you on the put your email in, get 20% off.
Put your email in, get 20% off, right? And so I'm like, oh, well, they already gave me 50% off, right? Because they're running a deal. So then I get an extra 20%, like 70% off. $1 saves, $1 earned. Here's my email. And then what do you know? Calvin Klein is now emailing me every day, sometimes multiple days, or multiple times a day. Yeah. And I'm not getting service right now, but tons of other places I've signed up for. I get emails sometimes once, twice. I've seen brands email as much as 3 times per day. And people are so worried about, oh, I'm annoying my customers. It's like, you spent money to acquire them, and they're all not going to buy your shit. So you might as well keep emailing them until they either unsubscribe or buy your shit.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Even once a week, dude.
Leave a bad review. Oh, this guy emails me too much. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to do that.
Yeah. That's the intrusive thought we have in our head, that fear. I've been there before, man. I don't want to bug people, but...
No, we have. That's why I speak with so much conviction on it, is because I wish I had taken this approach back then. We built a list of 2,000 people in Orange County.
That's 2,000 customers, not even leads, bro.
Not even leads, just straight buyer leads.
Yeah.
And we did no emails to them. We had no nurturing.
I remember we did one. Mm-hmm. It was like around the COVID time.
We sent a MailChimp. I was so shit, but I think we got some bookings off of it.
We literally sent a crappy email with no copywriting knowledge and got like, I want to say like 2 or 3 bookings that it came out to like $700. Like, we made $700 from one email. Imagine if we were sending emails the whole time.
Exactly.
That would have been a couple $100,000 in revenue that we could have added to the business every year. So, yeah, now being on the other side where we have a business where we are doing that, we're seeing like how big of a difference it can make.
100%. And our list is like 100,000 people for Home Service Academy, and they get emailed every day. And when we do pushes and stuff, sometimes it's twice a day, 3 times a day, as reminders of like, hey, this deal's gonna expire, whatever, blah 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 blah. And all that stuff comes from e-commerce and retail. And you think they're not absolutely ripping it? They don't care about the 20%. Like, let's talk about the economics behind it, too, because Calvin Klein doesn't care. They're giving me 70% off because they got my email. Now they own my ass because they can continue to email me with offers and extend the LTV on me for just 20% off. And I was already purchasing anyways.
Yeah, dude, knowing you probably already bought 3 things since last week.
No, I didn't. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's also important to understand why you do this, because especially if you're spending money. Another thing we didn't do, too, something you guys can take away from this, is I said we had a list of 2,000 people. You said, no, 2,000 customers, not leads.
Right.
But what we didn't do was we didn't store all the emails and leads we got into our system, right? It was all scattered all over the place. Not only that, but we didn't even collect emails off of everyone that didn't book. And so, again, modeling after e-com, go to any big e-commerce store and click to buy something and go to the checkout page, put all your info in, but don't check out, don't pay, and then abandon the cart. You're going to get hit with abandoned cart emails. And with cleaning, you should have an online booking form. We use Booking Koala. And if you've got that, you can do abandoned cart functions to where if they put their info in and don't book, you can hit them with a sequence to get them booked eventually.
Right.
Which it's not going to be like some crazy thing where you're going to get a ton of bookings off of it. But, if you get 2, 3, 4% of people who are churning off your checkout page to book, that could end up being a lot of money, especially as you're scaling and as you're growing. So it's just little things like that I promise you these boomer cleaning business owners you're competing against in your local market are not doing. They're just not doing that. And not only that, but also if you have a little pop-up on your website saying, hey, here's your email, 20% off, kind of like Calvin Klein, 20% off, you put your email in, your first deep clean. Now you're building up your list a lot faster because you're not just getting buyer leads. You're getting as many emails as you possibly can. Someone calls you and doesn't book. It's like, hey, okay, hey, you don't want to book right now. Let me just grab your email. I'll send it over for reference. I'll send you over the quote for reference. Boom, you just got their email. You can remarket to them. Because if they don't go with you, they go with another cleaning company. That cleaning company fucks up. They're not happy. You hit them with emails. Guess who they're going to book with? They're going to try you out.
Learn from our mistakes, please. You will make more money as a result of it. Yeah. This is not financial advice. But
no, it is. It is. Get the fucking emails. It's 100% financial advice.
Definitely email your customers and your leads.
Yeah. I think it's a good spot to wrap it.
We gave a lot of sauce. Mm-hmm. We did. And to Johnny's point at the beginning, if you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please leave a review because we need to know what people think. So whatever it is, leave us a review. Let us know what you think. Got any final words here?
If you have any comments, guys, we'll respond to everything. Leave a comment. You got questions, leave a comment. We'll answer it. Check out Home Service Academy. You probably got hit with an ad throughout this podcast at some point saying, hey, book a call with our team. We go live every Thursday now. So we do live free master classes. Wednesday. We go live Wednesdays, not Thursday. Cut that out. We'll cut that in post.
Cut that out, editor.
But that was
actually
so funny,
leave it in, though. Actually leave it in.
That was so funny, huh? Wednesdays we go live 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. CST, 5 p.m. Mountain. And we're going to walk you through every single Wednesday how to launch a remote cleaning business completely for free. We're giving all the sauce away, all the secrets. And it's going to be me. It's going to be live. If you hop in the chat and you say something, I'll probably talk to you. So if you want to talk to me and you want to learn about remote cleaning, come to my class on Wednesday at 4 p.m. The link will be in the description. And if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe, hit the like, notification bell. And again, any questions, leave a comment. See you in the next one.
All right. Peace.
Peace.